Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Christina for those of you who are just stopping by for the first time. I recently completed chemotherapy back in October. It is now March, so it's been a few months. That's why my hair looks this way. And for those of you who are already subscribed, thank you so much for coming back. I just wanted to do a quick eyebrow tutorial today for those who have been going through chemo and have either lost their eyebrows completely or have lost them just a little bit to where, you have a lot of sparse areas and things like that. I never did lose my eyebrows completely, but I did find that I lost quite a bit of them, and I wanted to get this video recorded because they are coming back, and you'll see when I zoom in. I have lots of long eyebrows, and I have lots of really short ones, and I'm trying not to pluck or do anything. I'm just letting them grow in so that I can start to shape them how I want them. So when I focus in, sorry about that, I don't have complete loss of my eyebrows. I hope that if you do, you still find this tutorial helpful. When I first started out doing my eyebrows, I'm not the best at it. I'm just going to pre-warn you about that. I just really like to do them, and I think it adds something to my face. Right now, they're not done, so I feel weird when I look at myself in the mirror or my little viewfinder here. I feel naked without it now. But I feel like there isn't very many tutorials out there. There aren't very many tutorials out there where they can teach you from very, very sparse eyebrows to no eyebrows. I have only been actually doing my eyebrows for probably about 1.5 to 2 years. And I have to be honest, it took me a lot of practice to even want to walk out into public with them. And so what I would do is when I was getting ready to wash my face off at night, I would just kind of practice doing my eyebrows and see how I liked the look of it. It was pretty funny when I first started because I would walk out and it would just be awkward because I had never had eyebrows on my face like I did when you draw them on. And my husband would make jokes. He'd be like, "Are you angry at me?" Just because they'd be like and shaped horribly. So I do want to put that out there that it does take a lot of practice to get it how you want it, and having a good product always helps too. So just take a few nights and practice and just do really subtle brows before you walk out into public and show off those new little eyebrows that you got. When I lost all my eyebrows, it happened to be a time when Benefit was launching a new brow line, and so I thought I would try their Precisely My Brow pencil. I have mine in shade 3. It says it's an ultra fine brow defining pencil, and this is awesome. I've already gone through one and had to buy another, but I think just it gives a very soft and natural look, and I'm able to draw fine lines with it and able to really draw precise lines with it. And so this is what I'll be using for my tutorial today, and you'll see why I really like it too, and I feel like it's a really good match to my hair now that it's starting to grow in. Okay, so I'm gonna get you all zoomed in. I'm just gonna show you one eyebrow on camera. The other one I'll do off camera, and then I'll just show you some tips and tricks on how to even those out. Okay, so now that I got you focused in a little bit on my eyes and all my fabulous wrinkles, I'm going to get started here. Again, I'm gonna be using the Benefit Precisely My Brow in shade 3. I thought this was a really good color for brunette hair. But what I'd like to start out with, I just grab the spoolie side of it and I smooth out any of my eyebrow. Normally I wouldn't have done my makeup before. I usually do it before I do my foundation and everything like that, but I wanted to have all my makeup done before I started the tutorial here. But you can see that I have some really short brows that are coming in and then some really long brows. And then, well, just not very much going on the tail end there. So what I do is I just grab the pencil side of the brush and I look to where my beginning part of my eyebrow would start. A lot of you might not have eyebrows in this area, but I do. So what I do is I just kind of line my pencil up with the corner of my eye, and then I just make a little dot where the corner of my eye would hit the edge of my eyebrow, and I just draw a very, very light line, and I'm using such light pressure. I wish you could feel the light amount of pressure that I'm using there. And I just draw that line to start. Then I take the edge of the pencil and I just lightly start drawing in a brow. Now, if you have more brows, you won't want to do this because you can just draw little lines here and there, but I have to draw an outline of a brow because I have hardly any brow. And I just kind of turn, let me make sure you can see this. I turn and I give myself a little bit of an arch. Some of you might like a higher arched eyebrow. I don't. I think it makes me look silly. I feel like I make enough facial expressions to where I don't need to draw it on. And then I just draw a little tail where I can see a little bit of my peach fuzzy hairs, and I draw the tail down. So I have my lower outline all done there, as you can see. Then I come over the top and I go where my eyebrows are kind of slightly coming in. Now, if you don't have any eyebrows at all, you just start the line where you feel like the thickness, you start out thin and then you just kind of add a little bit more and add a little bit more to see how thick that you want your eyebrows. But I just start drawing them in where my eyebrows are kind of growing in, where I can kind of see it. And I just draw it straight back, and you can see where my arch begins to start. I draw it straight back until I reach the outer corner of my eye, and then I just kind of draw a little round area, and then I try to meet that tail. You're not going to meet it perfectly, but that's what shading is for, and this spoolie end. Alright, so now that I have my outline, I'm pretty happy with that outline, but I'll probably mess with it a little bit here and there, you'll see. I just fill it in, and what I do is really, really light hair-like strokes. And you're not going to have hair-like strokes throughout the eyebrow just because it's going to be too difficult because you're going to shade in so much when you don't have eyebrows. If you have a lot of eyebrows, then it might look more like hair-like strokes. Here it's just going to look like I colored in my eyebrows, but that's okay. It's only temporary. Alright, I'm just showing a little bit of me drawing this in. And I like the tail end to be a little bit darker. So it's dark here, and then it gets lighter in the middle, and then you want it really light in the front. And of course, now that I'm on camera, it's going to be an extra hard brow day. So just little strokes here and there. And that is the key to doing a good eyebrow, is little strokes. You don't want to do long strokes because what'll happen is you mess up a lot. You'll get something that looks a little silly, and you'll forget to use that light pressure that you want to use. So I have the tail end pretty much done here. Now what I do is I kind of draw in a little bit here. I didn't draw in enough. But then I flip my pencil, now that I've drawn on it, just like a crayon, it gets a little bit pointed on one side, and that's exactly what I want. So some of you might want to draw in a line that's a little bit curved like this and fill in your brow there. I like mine straight up. I feel like it frames my face a little bit better when I draw it straight up like that. And what you're doing is drawing that from the little dot that I had you make when you went to the corner of your eye. You want to just draw a line straight up, and it makes it look like a hair when you do that. And so what I do is I just draw little hair-like strokes throughout there. So you can kind of see little hairs. It looks like little hairs anyway. You gotta work with it here when you don't have much or any at all. So a lot of people leave it like that, where you just have little hair-like strokes. It's pretty faint in the front part of the brow, but I like to draw mine in a little bit. I use such light pressure here, and I just kind of draw in those lines a little bit. I like mine a little bit darker. And then of course what I do is I run my little spoolie through this, and what this does is it just kind of blurs out the lines and makes it look more natural, I guess, and it keeps your brow within the lines that you've drawn. Again, mine aren't going to be yet because I am growing them out. so that I can reshape them. So when I do shape them, what I do is I draw in my brow exactly how I want it, and then I just pluck around it. So if there's little fine hairs that are around it, I just pluck around it, and I shape my own eyebrows. I don't get them waxed or threaded or anything like that. So with that being said, I'm going to work on my other eye. So I'm getting ready to start the second eyebrow, and I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what I do to start that. I just run my spoolie through and just make sure that all the hairs are nice and straight and things like that. I like these to kind of poke up. I train my eyebrows to go straight up here and then flat back like that. But I do the same thing where I line the pencil up on the corner of my eye and then to the edge of where I want my eyebrow, and I make a dot. And then I sit back and I look, are they even with the other eyebrow? And again, it's not going to be perfectly even. Your eyebrows will not be perfect to each other, and I don't think that's the way it should be. Somebody once said that your eyebrows aren't twins, they're sisters. So don't expect them to be perfect to each other. I'm just going to draw this brow in, and then I'll talk to you about reshaping here. So I'm pretty happy with how they look right now. But what I did want to say is normally if let's say I drew my line too far down here, and for the sake of it, I'll show you. So let's say I drew this too far down here and I didn't like it. Whoa, that's really thick. What I do is I just really lightly take my spoolie and fix it. I just kind of run it along, and it's okay if you blur here a little bit because I'm going to show you one step that kind of helps the under of the eyebrow. The underside of the eyebrow. So I just kind of blur it out like that and smooth it with the pencil again. And what I try to do is I try really hard to not do that over the top of the eyebrow. You could always run some concealer over the top of the eyebrow to fix that, but because I already have my makeup on, I try hard not to run the spoolie through that because it'll mess up my foundation. So with that, I am going to show you, I use this little eyebrow highlight. It is by Makeup Geek. It's called Ice Queen. It's just a really white shade, and it looks really, really white, but you'll see it's not so bad once we get it on the eyes. But what I do is I just take a teeny tiny bit on this brush. The brush I'm using is a Morphe MB19, and I just very lightly take it underneath the brow and kind of draw out a line. Some people do this with concealer. I don't like the way it looks on me, especially right now when I'm trying to grow out my eyebrows, but some people use concealer to do this, but this is the last part of my eyeshadow that I do, and I just kind of outline the brow. I start right at the arch since that's where I want the most highlight, and spread it out through the tail, and then now that I don't have much on the brush, I just kind of sweep it underneath and spread that out. Sometimes I add a little bit more, but you don't want very much of that eyebrow highlight to come toward the front of the eye. You want to highlight that brow bone right here at the arch the most. Then I just kind of take a brush and I would smooth out, I don't have my brush right here in front of me, but I would just kind of smooth out my eyeshadow so that they would blend together nicely. So this is the final look. As you can see, I do a pretty straight brow and I don't have much of an arch. I didn't feel like that looked good with my face shape and my eye shape, but some people do need a high arch. So that's definitely something that I would suggest practicing. Like I said, when you're getting ready for bed at night, right before you wash your face, just kind of practice drawing on your eyebrow and seeing what arch would look good for you. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel and checking out this tutorial. As always, I would love it if you would post in the comments your tips and tricks or things that you've learned along the way just to help somebody else out. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. And I would love it if you would like and share this video. I would love it to get out to those that need to see something like this, that are going through chemo, or even somebody that just doesn't have much eyebrows. And with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks again for stopping by. See you next time. Got our nice natural brows going on here. Yes, the camera loves you. The camera loves you. So I just wanted to go over a few things that I did while I was in chemo to help keep my skin fresh and clear. And if you know me, you know that I am a cheapskate, and I